Okay, so as it turns out, you just have to wait a little bit until you can test the operation. So nothing was changed, just let some time pass, grab a cup of coffee, go eat something, whatever you like, and then when you come back, it will all just magically work. So let's take a look here. I'm typing in Neo. Well, let's take something else. Let's take Cardano, for instance. Let's test the operation. And what do we get? We get our response back that was defined as a view in the Goa service. Great. So that means that within PowerApps we should be able to call this connection based on the custom connector. So the custom connector is here. The custom connector is called currencies, and we have a connection defined. The connection is defined is called currencies as well. Do remember, we are in the environment video. So when we are building our Power App as well, with the Power App for Windows application in this case, you can also do this in the web-based version. Also make sure you're in the video section there. So then you'll see if you go to, in this case, you go to View and you go to Data Sources, you can just add a data source. Now I did it already here. So data source currencies was added, and that adds, in this case, the get price of a cryptocurrency data source. Right? And we can call that data source to actually get the information that we need. Now, how is that actually done? It's pretty simple, really. So we have our text box here. The text box is just a plain text box. We don't have to configure anything when it comes to events or whatever you want. Maybe you can set the default maybe to an empty string, for instance. That would be preferable. And then we have our button. The button, let's call this button get price. And this button only has to do one thing. When we click the button, we have to retrieve the data. How do we do that? We use the onSelect event. There's a function connected. In this case, it's an update context function. The update context function basically is setting something like a variable which is set at the screen level. So this application only has one screen. There's also a way to set variables for the entire application, but that's not what we're doing right here. And within that context, we create a record where we actually say, okay, a record for a column called USD. We define that name, so USD, what we select, and we set the value of that column to the result of get price of a cryptocurrency, which was the connection or the data source that was defined of that custom connector. That contains a currency show operation, and currency show, of course, is actually calling our API, needs an input, and the input is just the text that we type in the text input box. Now, if you're using this, that means that USD will basically contain the result of the entire get call, right? So it will contain the ID of the currency, the name of the currency, the BTC price, and the USD price. So how do I show then the USD price in a label? Well, that's very easy. When you go to the label, the text of the label can be set to USD.USD price. And then if you try the actual application and you run it, and you do, for example, Neo, and you get the price, change a little bit. If I'm going to Ethereum, get the price, okay, a bit better. You ask for Bitcoin, get the price. If I type something silly, like for example, useless Ethereum token, yeah, that one isn't named or called like that. I don't have anything in this case. It's empty in this case. There is no price. Of course, I could use an if statement that actually says, okay, there's no value, or type a different kind of name or something like that. But we'll leave that to you. So you have basically seen how easy it is to do this. So the trick is that you have a custom data source defined, or a custom connector defined. And to create the custom connector, you of course use an open API file. That's the easiest. And because we have used Goa, we can use the open API file from Goa. And again, when you're testing the custom connector, do give it some time between creating the connector and testing the connector. After a while, it should work. And then you can start using the actual connector in a PowerApp. Okay, that's it for now. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, of course, do leave a comment either on YouTube or on my blog. And till next time, thanks.